And we are live. Welcome. It has been a while. It is good to see everybody. I appreciate everybody being patient and it was a lot longer than I ever thought it was going to. But Lisa and some other families have been really, really, really supportive and understanding. And I appreciate it. There was a few times where I thought I was ready to come back, and Lisa was right there, ready to be here with me, and I kind of backed out on her. But she's been patient, and they kind of know a little bit. I've been open with what's going on behind the scenes, and they've just been really supportive, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who's been here supporting them and keeping their faces out while I took a break. I'm happy to be back. And Lisa, I reached out to her. She said that she'd come on and kind of give much needed updates. Where I left off with you, we had just learned that Aaron's case had been closed. So I'm sure that you have found out a lot more since then. So I offered you to come on and help kind of break the ice and give some updates.
I'm glad you're back. You're one of the warriors too. Yeah, Dennis Prayer got involved in it. In my opinion, I may be wrong. They had kept telling me the case was open. They wouldn't give me my son's wallet. They still haven't given it to me, and I believe they backdated a letter. I found a lot of other things. The cases have been increased. Josh Bohannon was found.
Yes.
That was horrific for the family, to say the least. And his mom's had a lot of health issues. Basically, everything with the cases I know, they're just sitting still. Most of them, the ones that do go to court, they're being plea bargained out, and it's just justice isn't being served by any means. Now, in Aaron's case, we had some people come in, Sean Taylor, and they tried to get with me for about 10 months, and I didn't trust nobody, so I wasn't talking. Told them when God decided for me to talk, he'd let me know, and he did. So I talked to him, and I learned so much. In about 4.5 hours, I just said, that's enough. I'm on overload. But across Tennessee right now, we've probably got between 75, 80 cases. I don't think
because the group you started was originally to put Aaron's name out there to try to get justice for him, and then you found other families within the 13th district, but then it kind of grew beyond the 13th district.
I thought initially Aaron was just one that just slipped through the cracks. It happens. And when 2 weeks, there was 20 cases. And at that point, I knew pretty much well over my head. And the membership, it's really hard still to get in. We hadn't let up on that. People need a place to tell their stories and not feel they're going to be harassed after they tell them, because you're among people that are experiencing the same things. We've had cases now of land grabs in the district. We've got an official, a high-ranking official, shot a young man in Benton County, Tim Ring. They want to arrest this guy, high-ranking in the military. So, corruption seems to be running all across Tennessee. Just from what I see. I went back, saw the crime scene photos again in February. I didn't leave happy. That's all I can really say about them. You've seen them.
Well, for people that, you know, you have come on here a lot. Anybody that wants to really dive in, there are plenty of videos that they can go watch. But the gist of it is, you know, when Aaron passed, it was said that it was by suicide, hanging.
Yeah.
And for what, 7 months, I think it was, you thought, you know, there were only two people up there.
Yeah, well, actually, we didn't have concrete proof until Dennis Ferrier got a hold of the 911 call, the actual calls, and they, you know, you could hear her there. Well, see, there, she said there was 5 up there fighting in the call, plus there was her and Karen, and there was more than that there. I finally got the story. I was missing pieces. I was close, but I finally got it. Word out fell in place. There was a guy went to the district attorney's office. One of them confessed to a person, and they signed a statement, and they said that wasn't what happened, and said it wasn't credible.
Well, because initially what they wanted put out there and what they said was, you know, sadly, Aaron had hung himself. Him and his girlfriend at the time were fighting. There was nothing that she could do. You know, they had this, and going by that, sure, yeah. But then you found out a lot more.
You know, when the autopsy report come back, now I sent you a link to the Alpha Warrior show where 2 detectives go over his autopsy report. And I've had doctors and head nurses, you know, trauma units. I have never had one say it was possible he hung himself. I mean, there was no damage to his neck. There was one faint mark, it said, but you could stand behind somebody and do that. They did try to hang him, according to the people I've talked to. But I mean, talking to Dunaway or any of his people is a waste of time. He don't care. A suicide in that district was the quickest way. Open and close a case. You know, their funding comes through, you know, other cases. How many? But the crime rate's ridiculous. I mean, you got people disappearing continually still. Of course, you know, you got the Tennessee sits right on that traffic lane for trafficking, and we found out that there's a lot of other ways that they're trafficking besides the interstates. It's been a lot to absorb, but I think it's been a good place for people to come together. You know, one might know something that helps somebody else, so we help each other. You know, FOIA request forms, and then you have, you know, I've been in 57 months now. Ain't a day goes by and I don't cry.
You guys really went from a group of families trying to figure out to get help to really, it sounds like you guys are trying to start doing this on your own, you know, like really diving in.
Well, you know, initially, especially in that area, you know, they're small, close-knit communities. And when you've got your drug circles, they're close-knit too. And people, you know, you've got officials that out there tell you one thing, and people tend to, you know, absorb whatever they're fed, basically. You know, everything's great. But, you know, Tennessee is ranked the most corrupt state in America. It's one of the most beautiful states.
Yeah.
But, you know, I sat and I wondered how it could get this far out of control. And, you know, it goes back to people live by the old code. You know, if it don't affect you, keep your mouth shut. But in doing so, and now, you know, when I lived there, I was part of it. If it don't affect you, keep your mouth shut. But that's exactly has got us to where we're at right now, where, you know, officials have no accountability. And they're steady passing laws in Tennessee or trying to cover their butts, because there's a lot of ugly dirt out there that's been turned up, been discovered. And, I don't know where it'll go. And your reality of it is, I may never get his death certificate changed, but it won't be because I didn't give 100%. And I will be a thorn in their side till I'm dead and in the dirt. Because right's right and wrong's wrong. And I don't care who's doing it.
Amen.
When my son done wrong, I didn't protect him. I didn't try to. Because, that's the only way you learn. If there's consequences for your actions, then you think about it the next time. But when you get officials who refuse to prosecute police officers that violate the law, said he'd never prosecute a police officer. Teachers that are pedophiles, no charges on them. No charges on a sheriff that told them to use deadly force on an unarmed man, killed the wrong man. Nothing. So, and then I don't know if you've heard about the Craig Lance case. Craig was convicted of killing some people back probably about 21 years ago. Well, the Innocence Project took on the case, and they were back last fall, I think. The DA and the ADA were arguing that they didn't think the evidence should be DNA tested. Now, they used DNA testing to convict people, but they didn't want to use it to exonerate an innocent man. And last I heard, they had got some results back, but it's not my place to say. But that young man, he was railroaded, and they just don't want to.
I think it's hard for people to think that our law enforcement and officials make mistakes and or are corrupted, but we have plenty of innocent people sitting in prison, and that
yes, we do.
That should show they are very capable of those things. And then they're even more so, it's hard for them to correct their mistakes. They'd rather sit in them than it shouldn't be hard to release.
Well, the thing about it is, it's the good old boy system is what it gets down to. There are good officers out there, but when you get into these small communities, and you've got your bad boys, it's, they will keep at you till they get something they can hold over your head. Then they haven't got any choice. They're in it. But somewhere down the line, I believe that some of them are going to get tired and they're going to stand up and say, hey, enough's enough. Because, our theory, how many bodies does it take to make one man happy? Because you've got over 50 families that have questions. He won't even talk to people. When I walked in up there February the 6th of 23, I met him on the sidewalk. He didn't even speak.
That's a shame.
It is. It is. And actually, he never said sorry for your loss or kiss my ass or nothing. But I thought at this point, I thank God I haven't got to where I hate, because it's easy to get there. But I fought the system up there more than I fought the people that killed them. That house sat there dealing drugs since the late 70s. Got busted one time that I know of. And, the Medellin drug cartel wasn't that lucky with their billions of dollars, So, it don't take an Einstein to figure out what was going on. I still, and people are just now in the area, just now realizing what is going on. You've got people they're having meetings behind closed doors, trying to go from a elected mayor to a city manager, which means he could stay as long as he wanted to. Aldermen that were being paid and they wasn't supposed to be. Only one of them that I know of paid the money back. I mean, CPS is taking kids that should be with their parents for some of the craziest stuff you've ever heard of. And the court system's involved in it. Tennessee's court judicial system is bad. Now, if you follow,
I see that you have another group, Tennessee Exposed now. Is that more for?
There's the dark hole got to where there were being too many political posts in it.
Okay,
and it was supposed to be for the victims, the families to talk. And so those are set up. They're there. People can, as long as they're not cussing each other, they can, talk as much as they want to. People that want to, in the group that want to put their stories out publicly, they can do it there, But now I publish stuff everywhere I possibly can for everybody. At first, it started out the 13th. I was just looking for somebody else and cases, but we've got a couple, the Gainsborough 4, and the Tabitha Strand, her daddy's case, Charles Carr Jr., they're out of the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all connected. I mean, there's a lot of cases that are connected, with Aarons. And people, like I said, they're just now realizing Josh was found 150 yards from where they refused to let the family hunt. 150 yards. They would have found him. And then you got, I don't know if you've ever watched Patriot Punk, but Putnam County, they refused to release a lot of stuff, even with FOIA requests, which is a federal, the Freedom of Information Act.
Gainsborough, they, for a while, the parents thought that case was open, and we found out last year that it had been closed for a while. Yeah. Well, they went to file and they were told no because it was an open investigation. So it's very difficult for you guys. I've seen that firsthand from you guys, how hard it is just to get any type of information.
Yeah. Well,
and your cases turned out to be closed. So that's even crazier that you guys.
Tennessee said, they'll sit and they'll tell you, well, we'll reopen if we come with evidence. Now that is crock. Because I'm sitting with all the physical evidence. The DA was at the crime scene. And now this is supposed to be the man that tries the cases, so he needs that evidence. So,
because for people who don't know, you have the rope.
Oh yeah, and I actually spoke to. I was invited to a meeting back last fall, and I'd been asked to make a PowerPoint presentation, and I made it. And actually, there was an officer there, and I seized the opportunity. I said, is it normal to leave the rope hanging or leave the evidence laying on the ground? He said, no. He said that entire rope is supposed to go with that individual to the medical examiner. I said, okay. But, I'm sitting with his bloody hat. Well, they sent a shirt back because I called Derek Sidwell when he when I got it, and I asked him, I said, where's the T-shirt that he had on the crime scene photos? He said, it's not in there. I said, no. I said, they sent one back. I said, but There ain't no way Aaron could get it on. They sent a size medium T-shirt back. There's no way Aaron could have got that shirt on. Not his size. It's not possible. But, they virtually played me as poor grieving mom, Yeah, I'm tore up. All I want, I realize that sometimes people don't get prosecuted. There's not enough evidence to do it. There's more than enough evidence. You got a liquor bottle, and I know whose fingerprints is on it. And I'm sitting on it, got people ready to analyze it, DNA test the rope. Whoever tied the rope was left-handed. And I know of one person, 100%, that was left-handed that was there. But the thing goes back, why would a district attorney spend 8 hours at a suicide? They don't. This man don't even go out to crime scenes. He'd been out to one because it involved a judge or something. That's all that anybody ever knew of. But they're all a trip. I mean, they've rallied around each other, but there's so many laws that all of them's violated. It's ridiculous. But the families, nobody, it's like it isn't enough that these families have lost a loved one. It's like he enjoys inflicting more pain. And I don't believe anybody has that right. I don't care who you are. Complaints have been made against him. All they do is send them back to him for him to dispose of. The judicial system's the same way. So, we're fighting an uphill battle. But the thing about it is, enough stands together. They can't ignore you. They can for a little while. But, my thing is I'll be happy with any of them that gets overturned or reopened because it opens the door for the rest of them. That's the reason they're not doing nothing, because they know it'll be a shit show.
Yeah.
And, these people are supposed to be competent, well-trained people. I've dug up stuff that I didn't even want to know. I'd rather not know. But we got a lot of new families with stories that are as crazy as ours are. But
it just seems to be a reoccurring theme. These are just cases that aren't worked. They're not cases where officers have, spent up every night combing through everything that they can, and they're coming up short-handed and there's just nothing there.
No.
It's not me.
I was giving them information, and when I talked to the ADA Gore, he said Mr. Sidwell, I don't know if you know or not, but Derek Sidwell passed away. At Cox passed away. Russell Cox passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, karma's a bitch. So, but yeah, there's a story behind Russell dying. He went to jail for quite a long while, and he put the house up for sale. It's sold.
And this is the house that Aaron was found on, the property in the garage. It was
it's a equipment shed for like combines and stuff like that. Aaron died in the front door of the living room. We have luminol photos. Poor old Russell, he let somebody in and they took pictures. Left one of them sitting upstairs alone. Hell, that's all they needed. So of course the DA could say, well, the thing is, why weren't they Why didn't they go in the house? You're supposed to secure a scene completely. And they didn't. I mean, supposedly the puppies done blunt force mass trauma to Aaron's face. Why did they not have any pictures of the puppies? I got pictures of them. There ain't no blood on those puppies. You know, puppies' fur, when blood gets on them, it stains their fur. It has to wear off. There's no washing it off. And there wasn't no blood on those puppies.
Now, for as long as me and you have been talking, you have been stressing out there very much about, you know, if in fact he had been hanged, the ligature markings around his neck and all of that stuff just wasn't there. You have always said that there was a very vague, maybe.
No, that's what the medical examiner said. I couldn't find it.
So you had pictures of Aaron in his casket. You have had, but I see in your group, and you've also had pictures of the road. You know, you have shown just about everything that you have had in your possession.
Well,
but I've seen the group I've seen that you have. Now I wouldn't, and I probably could not show those on YouTube here. But I've seen the photos that you recently posted out there. Now, do you talk about those?
I'll talk about any of them. I believe in the long run, it hurts to know your child.
Yes. But the lengths that you have had to go through is just, that's what breaks my heart, for you to even have to go to get those photos. It really.
You know, I have to go through it because Aaron was unselfish. And he would want me to do what I had to do to show what kind of pieces of shit these people are. I mean, we put our trust and our faith. Growing up, you know, I still respect law enforcement. I respect our judicial system. But when you get people in there that allow other officials to break the law, you know, had one guy run over a man and killed him on a motorcycle. He's practicing law right now. I mean, case after case, you got, it's ridiculous. One official filed a FOIA request now, a police officer, and for wanting something about the ban list for the Josh Bohannon case. They turned on him. It was pitiful how they turned on. They drug his wife into it, and she's just a really, really good lady. But in doing so, you know, only certain people with certain clearances can get to a lot of past photos. And, you know, you got some smart people this day and time. And there's just been a lot of information come out. I mean, the Katie Cawthorn.
Yes.
They, a couple of months ago, I think it was, her mother's dog come into her mom's house carrying a skull. So don't know if it's Katie's.
I seen that. We're waiting. That's why I've been kind of holding off on just waiting to see what the results were.
Yeah, but see the way officials are doing. You know, back when I was growing up there, if there was a car wreck, there'd be pictures of the wreck in the newspapers, everything.
Yeah,
they're controlling what information we receive, and you know, if we're not seeing anything bad in newspapers or online, then we think everything's great. Until you get some people start raising Cain and asking questions. And, you got 7 counties, population ain't that big. And you got too many cases. You got too many people without answers. I mean, you had Cindy Young, told her, they wouldn't even answer her questions. And, Cindy's got a temper. And Ken carried her out, It's sad when you talk to people like that. I know Sherry Smith was talked to really ugly. But
and that's another thing. It's one thing for these cases not to be taken care of is and the way they talk to families. I cannot. That just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, that's a part of the job. If you want to look at it like that, that's a part of your job for one, and two, it really doesn't take much to answer the phone, even if you have nothing.
You got a DA throw his, he said no in court. He could do anything he wanted to. There's nobody above him. He didn't answer to nobody.
I mean, some of them are downright nasty to you guys. Like, I've talked to a lot of families out of Tennessee, and they're downright nasty.
Me and the ADA, Gore got into it. He started out talking nice. I was asking my questions, and somewhere in there he got upset and just said, "Look, you ain't got any choice in accepting whatever I decide." And I said, "Young man, we always have choices." And I said, "I do have one more question." He said, "What is it?" I said, "What happened? What was the results of the test on the rope?" "Oh, there was no test. We don't do that in suicides." I said, "So you decided it was a suicide before he ever left for Nashville?" And I said, "It's funny." I said, "I've got a recording between me and Derek Sidwell and him stating he was waiting on that report on the rope." So I haven't talked to him since, but I have no use for him, period, because he's a liar. Be happy to tell him to his face he's a liar. I haven't got no problem telling him what I feel. They're still holding Aaron's wallet. I haven't got it yet.
If the
you call up there and
if the case is closed, why?
Yeah, I can tell you why. Somebody applied for a credit card in Aaron's name. Hadn't been 6 weeks ago. They got his social security number and stuff. The only reason they didn't get a card is because they put the wrong phone number on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there ain't nothing they're doing that don't get back to. I'm pretty sure I know who done it, but we'll wait and see. Because it's all going to come out.
Yes, I very.
You can't do as much ugly as they've done up there, and how people fussing, and the videos getting out on TikTok and LinkedIn, and I put them everywhere I can put them up, and I'm going to continue doing that.
If nobody knows this, Hillary is on my page, on my True Crime Spotlight Facebook page, and she helps out make posts too. So I have been gone for a while, but many people have been seeing posts, and there's a few other moderators. I took a break, but I left it in good hands for the families, for you guys to be, and she posts the TikToks on there all the time, everywhere.
Yeah. People, when you hear a name is one thing, but when you can put a face like Emily Christopher, 19 years old, that mom has truly been fed a line, but that mom's sharp. She's real sharp. And, she reached out to me. she said her best friend had called her, screaming at her, saying, Emily's on the Tennessee murder billboard, and you need to call Lisa Key. So that's how me and her met a few months ago. But now she's a fighter. She's a bulldog. And, the more people that stand up, the more it encourages others.
Yes.
And, if you've got questions, I think even, all these cases may not turn out to be what the family hopes they are,
Right.
but they have the right to ask the questions. They have a right to answers. And for, case closed, I've got nothing else to say. That's bullshit. I mean, if you don't want to do your job, don't go for it,
Yeah.
I pray this man's not elected again. He's into his second term now. I just don't see how he served the 13th district at all. The 13th district sure earned the lucky 13 number. But like I said, we've got several cases now. Got one out of oh God, what's that girl's name? It's Joanne Conger's niece, beautiful blonde-headed girl. Then we've got them out of Greene County. Got quite a few out of Greene County in East Tennessee. Couple out of Dover. I mean, it's in Nashville. We've got, I believe you had maybe Sheila Clemens on once.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sheila, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the police officer in that case, I believe he was let go from Metro, but he went somewhere else.
Yeah.
And see, there's the problem.
And yeah, when she was on, we showed that video, and yeah, there's a lot of questions in that video.
Yes, but there's a video out there they recorded of Aaron. There's a lady out there. She's a friend, or she was a friend. I know she saw it. She told a friend she saw it. But I'm praying, she'll come around and say, "Hey, this is the right thing to do."
Because those are the people we need. We need those people.
I always thought a lot of her. She's actually lived in my home. But she told a friend of mine some words, that they said, in the recording. One of the girls called one out on Facebook and said exactly, "Hey, I recorded it, the whole thing." But I don't care if one of them walked in and said, "I did it. I'm confessing. I want it off my conscience." They won't take it. I believe in my heart they wouldn't take it. Because, and the way they interviewed, their interview skills, oh, they're so sweet. Well, he hung himself, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're fully led questions. These people don't know how to interrogate people, that's for sure.
Well, they say they need new evidence brought to them, but it's from what the vibes I'm getting, it's at their leisure what they deem as hearsay and not direct.
Well,
and at least in the Gainsborough case last year, without going into too many, the person that came to, I don't think you get any more direct than that. And as far as it's just on deaf ears. And at that point, it's just, you guys have all this information. It's just who to give it to. We need the right person that's going to take this on and listen.
In my opinion, it'll take the feds, because corruption goes way.
Pretty far away from Tennessee that doesn't even know what Tennessee is because.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of podcasts where people say they do stay away from Tennessee. We had one set of podcasters that were threatened.
Oh, I told you, I always thought I would move to Tennessee until I met y'all.
And they're selling all this property. People are not checking into the crime rates, conviction rates.
They lure you in with the beautiful in the heart of the country, but after I met you group, they got quite a big underbelly to it.
Yeah, well, I've said since I've got, I was into it about a year, and I said, well, they ought to put a sign everywhere where you come into Tennessee. Come to Tennessee to do your crime, you'll do half the time.
Yes, and I don't mean to laugh, but yes.
Yeah, or if you do any time, you got people breaking the laws that they get to keep their job and keep their offices. They broke the law once.
Well, I think that's why it's good that you guys have the Tennessee Exposed group in your group, because they show both sides of, for me, you have your case over here, but then you have a long list, a whole group of why, proof of this is why this isn't being taken care of.
You get one or two cases in a district, maybe 4 or 5 max, that there's always going to be, probably a wrongful conviction. But the district attorney, he's the one that decides if he's got enough evidence to get a conviction.
Yeah.
Well, in their case up there, they plea bargain everything. I believe the Amy Bowman Flat trial, they pled them out, I believe, to 15 years. One of the guys.
Really?
Yeah, 15 years, and there was a 2-year. I think it's a 2-year-old baby a few weeks ago. The name sounded Hispanic to me. It may have not been. Kill the baby. He's walking around on the streets, and give him bond. That's how much they value a human life. And that's where we've run into problems, where I don't think people are being taught the value of a human life. And I'm just waiting when it comes down to when it's eye for an eye. Because there's going to be somebody jump up and say, hey, enough's enough. That's it.
Yeah.
When they get, and people, they get, keeping your mouth shut, sitting there behind closed doors. Well, when enough of these people are let go for long enough, they know they can get away with anything. It's just a matter of time before they come knocking at your door and taking what you've got.
And that's another thing, a lot of people just say, well, all you can do is take care of your kids and your life. And no, I wish, but sadly, no, because no matter what I do for mine, you have to worry about that's just, you can't.
Right. We're our brother's keepers. We're supposed to you're supposed to love thy neighbor and look out for each other. Salina, where I was raised, I can remember the streets. Everybody knew everybody, stop and speak to each other. And I go up there anymore. My mother and father are buried in Salina. And you don't see nobody on the streets. It's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
And, growing up, I always played ball. Softball games, we played out in tornado warnings. Whole town was out there watching us in that rain, mud knee deep. They always supported each other. Families that didn't get along, if a family lost their home, the community come together and got those people a roof over their head, clothes, and got them started again. Even people that they didn't get along with, and we people moving too far away from God now. You've got people out there that simply don't believe in God, and that's their right. I respect it. I wouldn't want to wear their shoes, but I'll respect it. They're not teaching the kids. Kids are spoiled. I think where we're getting into all the really ugly with the kids is parents always say they want their children to have more than they did. When I was growing up, we had to earn a lot of what we got. It was extra. And children are being handed so much. When they when they don't get it, they get mad and they snap, kill grandparents, kill their parents. And it starts down a bad path. Respect begins at home. I think the biggest thing is not sitting down to dinners. How was your day? How was school?
Yeah.
They don't. A lot of times we don't really know what's going on. We assume the kids are great. They're not having problems. But parents are doing the best they can. They work at 2 jobs. Trying to keep a roof over their children's heads. For all intents and purposes, they're great parents. And some people slides through and nothing happens, but there are those that turn bad. And in Aaron's case, Aaron wasn't a choir boy by any means.
Never claimed that he was.
Oh no, he could be. Aaron was a handful if he wanted to be. But there's certain things, he didn't believe in. He loved babies. He loved old people. He didn't believe in disrespecting them. Now, me and him might fight the horseshoe battle, but he had certain lines that he couldn't cross.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had come to where the drinking, he had cut down a whole lot. And the girl, I begged him to leave her. I begged. She wasn't no good. She never was no good. She went through too much trauma young. And you can't save somebody that don't want to be saved.
Yes.
She liked that life of drugs and messing with everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. But, he'd had enough. When he come in and caught her and Russell together on the 2nd of April, it was bad. He is destroyed. But, it's like one of them that said he wasn't there when Aaron died. Hell, police report says he was there. And he's Aaron's cousin. And, Glass Ass is his cousin. But there was a couple of them. I got some names that I never could get a name on one of them, but finally I did. And his old lady. I always wondered why she decided to try to be a friend to me. Now I know why. She's trying to see exactly how much I knew.
Yeah.
I believe it'll come out. It'll come out. Somebody will squill on the other one. It's a waiting game. And, my thing is, I'm sorry. Dunaway feels like he has to have power over people. He has to try to destroy them. And it'd take a better man than him to destroy me. And any of these other families, I'm there. Whatever they need, if I know it, they've got it. Or I'll try to find it out. we don't have to stand alone. But we're gonna have to take our judicial system back and hold these people accountable and ask questions. When you don't ask questions, you let them get by one time. It's too many. Should be asking questions. And it's everybody's fault, mine, everybody else's, because we're so busy, living. Life, you gotta, especially right now with all that's going on, life's moving fast, and people are not having time to stop and really take a look around at what's going on. I don't believe it's they want us to have a black and white issue. Unless we all come together, I don't think this country's got a fair.
Yeah.
Because division, the way you beat a country, with fear and division. And they taught us, they've controlled what we've been taught since the 20s when the Rockefellers come in. And, when the wars, they control the media. They still control the media. So where I make my observations is I make them on my own, what I see around me. If you see you're paying $5 a gallon for gas, something ain't cool. Or the groceries are so high you can't afford them. But we have to we've got to stand together. It's not a black, I'll tell you my opinion now. In that district, because I know of several that's broke the law, done things, put on probation, they get to keep their jobs and get it took off their records. And the person's a good person, I can't say they're bad, but they can break the law, officials can, with nothing, no accountability, a slap on the wrist like it never happened. And then you have people like my son, Joshua Bohannon, Caitlin Ledbetter. They don't deserve justice because we can't afford to fight them. And they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Full advantage of it. So it's basically, if you got plenty of money, you deserve justice, or you can get away with murder. And actually one of them did. But if you ain't got the money to fight us, then you don't deserve an investigation. And that's wrong. I don't care how you cut it, that's wrong. And if I wasn't as old as I am, I'd get my degree and I would run against that man. Because what I've learned, there's good people. We just got to get the right ones out there.
Yeah.
And my opinion, until they get him out of that office looking for justice inside that district, is a waste of time. Because when you can't get it after years and years and years, then that means that somebody upstairs knows it's going on. You got Cameron Sexton, the Speaker of the House in Tennessee. He owns a house in Nashville, $600,000 house. Child is enrolled in school in Nashville, yet he represents Crossville. He don't live there. The law says you have to live there. They've called him out on it. They even removed him, And they've got the good old boys clique, and there's quite a few of them. I know of one honest judge in the district. I'm not going to put no pressure on him. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to put no pressure on him. But they'll do everything they can to swing him to their side, and they'll do whatever they got to do. Really. But, I pray for the families, every single one of them. I'm not going to leave anybody out, period. Sometimes you run into things where you don't get along, don't see eye to eye. And But that doesn't mean that the victim still doesn't need to be talked about. So get mad at me, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do what's right for the victim. And I don't care who don't like it.
Here for. Yeah. Well,
I'm not
I
going to. Go ahead.
I just want to let you know that if any families in your group, if they feel comfortable and they want to come up here, even if they want to sit with you up here with them while they talk, just for the comfort of having somebody else from the group up here, they are more than welcome to come share their stories.
Oh, I'm hoping they will because we've got. There's a lady that reached out to me on TikTok, and God bless her. She's had issues with the CPS and the judges, and it's well, it just. I don't know how much she'd want me to say, so
No,
maybe she's going to talk to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't know she said she was filing a civil lawsuit, so. But, did you hear about the little Hargis boy that died?
No.
Oh, there'd been some kind of problem at the hospital at Livingston, and some cops went over there. They got him calmed down, but they were gonna have to he's gonna have to go to a mental ward somewhere, I guess. And they took him to the county. He is fine when some of them left, but they piled on top of this young man so much weight it cut his ear off. He was brain dead. He was young man. You had over to Putnam County. I believe it was 11 ODs in a month or so, something like that. So they're blaming, saying people are bringing stuff into jail. I know how they search them, and I don't buy it. We've got people that's talking, but when it's time, they'll tell their side.
Yeah.
But it's crazy up there right now. It's literally crazy. The Patriot Punk went up to the court, the sheriff's department. They wouldn't let him in. He was trying to get some information.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a public facility that's paid for by the taxpayers, and you're going to put them on a ban list. Or lock the doors. You're awful confident that you're going to get away with stuff, be doing stuff like that. So, but I'm sure we can come up with some people to come back and talk. Vicky and Vicky and Josh's family, they've been through it pretty rough. I can't imagine.
And they were put through the ringer before Joshua was found.
Oh God, yeah. Told, what was it? They said when they went to file a police report, and I don't know if they ever were allowed to get a copy of that or not. I can't remember. One of the officers told them, well, they wasn't going to waste time and resources on somebody that had a warrant, a druggie that had a warrant on them and didn't want to be found.
Well, Parker Morris, that's why it's not such a rush, because allegedly they told the parents, well, he was a user, so what are the chances are he probably just went off and overdosed somewhere. Okay, all right, but if it could be a possibility in his case, but it
doesn't matter. If they're a druggie, if they're a drunk, it don't matter. They're a human being. That's where we run into a problem when you value one life more than the other. I don't care. Everybody makes mistakes. They have a way some people have a way they cope with things. It may not be the right way, but it may be the only way they know at the time. And sometimes, you got to hit the bottom to come up. And
Really,
when you set in judgment of people, you should be helping them, because the one person that extends their hand to somebody that's got a drug problem or alcohol problem, that one person may be the one that makes the difference, and they turn their lives around. People as homeless people, that, it tears me apart, especially our veterans. Oh my God.
yeah.
I pray for justice in the 13th, and I believe it'll come. I really do. I don't know.
I do.
But I believe it. I believe it is. I mean, you can't do as much damage has been done to the families across Tennessee, and
I think you all are going. The more people that come and talk are going to, or just even share their story, are going to paint a nice picture.
Yeah.
Of what really goes on in Tennessee, or what really doesn't go on in Tennessee.
I've had a couple of run-ins with some. The real estate agents really paint some good, photos of how Tennessee is, but it's not at all like it seems like it is.
No,
you got your good old boys that go along to get along, and
I've told you this before. I've spent whole summers in Tennessee, Kentucky, and it's just I grew up with this whole image. I'm very big in the country, and I had and then I met you guys, and it's just like.
Up in that area, Dale Hall Lake's one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, and I just always thought I was privileged to grow up there. I thought it was a child's utopia. Walk to kindergarten. Nobody worried about nobody getting me. I walked by myself. My grandmother walked me one time. The rest of the time I walked by myself. People looked out for each other.
Yeah.
And the sense of community was unreal, And when Aaron started telling me things, I'm like, man, they ain't no way. Not where I grew up.
Yeah.
Took me about 3 phone calls to find out everything he told me was the truth. And, I bet
one of the last one of the last phone conversations you had with him, he told you, "Ma, I think I got myself into something."
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He told me, he said, I've been gone so long, I didn't know none of the police up there. And still, I'll never move back. I'll move back when they plant me. But I believe the people up there deserve better than what they're getting. I have friends that, raise their children there. They have grandchildren there. And I believe those children deserve to be in a safe environment. Right now, there is no child safe up there. I don't care. They can sit and say, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. They're full of shit. I had a state representative tell me that there hadn't been no drug manufactured in that area in 10 years. I told him he needed to pull his head out of his butt. But, they can sit and convince people that, of that. You hear it enough, it gets beat into your head enough, you believe it. But I just want the family. I love them. There was probably a certain amount of corruption maybe growing up, or payoffs, that I didn't know about. But I don't see how it's got to this point.
I'm sure my little town here has some corrupt, type of its own little.
Yeah.
Every, and we're not saying Tennessee's the only, but Tennessee just seems to be relishing in it.
Well, the big thing we found out, and the trafficking and of the drugs, the sex trafficking, Tennessee is a hub because of our interstate systems. Run east, west, north, south, and then we've got secondary highways that do the same. We have railways. One of the biggest money seizures ever was on a railroad. And then we got the waterways. And, we're the trucking capital of the country. So, it's right there. And, there's money. There's big money in it. I mean, you got privately run probation systems, privately run prisons. They're draining the government. People will tell you, they virtually take half of our taxes, the money we make. And then people working 2 and 3 jobs, they work themselves to death. Some of them just get by doing that. These are good people. I mean, good, God-fearing people. And they deserve better than they're getting, or better than they've got. The Overton County Sheriff's Department, in Aaron's case, you got the man out there that tries the cases. He was there and let them leave all that evidence. That pretty much speaks for his character. But,
yeah.
I mean, you got his detective there. He's supposed to be, all these credentials and stuff, but yet they left all that evidence there. I can tell you whose fingerprints is on the liquor bottle. I can tell you whose DNA is on the part of that road. When people start talking, they start talking. Aaron's dad stood down there for 3.5, 4 hours. They made him leave.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Oh, and the Hargis case, it was great. I read the documents on it. Tim Poor, he's under John Garrett. He deleted part of the tape of the recording in the booking room where the Hargis boy died. He said he didn't know. I mean, when you think, you want to talk about supposed incompetence?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours.
I think a lot of them hide behind that in a way, like, oops, we made a mistake. But don't correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some law in Tennessee that they don't have to show. Like, if they bungled a whole case, they're protected. They don't have to show or be held to accountability on where they went wrong. Like, what was it? The Holly Bobo case or something up in Tennessee? They fudged that case so badly. And then instead of making them answer for it, I think that's where originally it came from, that they put it in the officer.
Like the district attorney, now Overton County was sued. The officers were sued personally over the Hargis boy. That's the only way they're going to learn is when
Yeah.
But there was a lot to that one. It's still under litigation, actually, as far as I know. But it's time somebody come up against them and make them do what's right. They took a young man's life. And at that moment, when they took that boy's life, he wasn't in his right mind. So why would you hurt somebody, that was having some mental issues at the moment? Sometimes, compassion and being nice goes a long, long way. But to me, they take some of the greatest people in the world, guys with most and women with the most beautiful smiles, run them through them academies, and they come out and it's like they ain't even the same person. They don't smile. People just some people sometimes a police officer give a break. That's the human nature side. Because everybody needs a break every now and then. I don't care who you are. But
I've met
it's like they just turn them into zombies or robots or something. And some of them are real dicks, I suppose, for lack of a better word. I mean, you can always get more with, honey than you can with vinegar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people are scared because, a lot of the officers, especially in that area, have become abusive. I know 2 ex-officers that have been, they've been done really ugly. One guy actually went in the house on one. This man's child standing there, and he attacked him, and that child could have been hurt. It's like he didn't pay no attention. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. It started out as missing people, murder, wrong death calls. Actually, I've got another one that's don't make no sense to be called. I may be wrong. I don't think I am, or the people I've talked to say I'm not. But I've cried with these people. I know them. We're family.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand till they walked in our shoes. Burying a child is a nightmare. But when you have public officials that you have put your trust in, throw your child away like he never meant nothing, the pain is a place it's a whole lot deeper place. It's a whole lot darker place. You lose faith in humanity, and you're sure you lose faith in law enforcement, but somewhere in there we've got to know that there's some good ones still there. They all ain't bad. One bad apple can't ruin the whole tree. But when you've got people obeying a power-wielding idiot, you have to question them too. Some of the officers up there are actually, I know one place come off the dispatcher and give him a gun and a badge. I believe there's a shortage of officers up there now. Probably we know why. Hey, I can't work here. They're not doing right. So I know Putnam County's got a lot coming in out of Miami-Dade. Who want to leave Miami, the beach, to come to Podunk, USA? I don't buy that for a minute.
Yeah.
No reason they coming. I don't know what it is, but it'll come around. We'll find out. But I'll set you up with some families. I'll talk to them. Glad to have you back.
More than I am. I'm happy to be back. Mentally, I was here, but as I was talking to you, I was away, but I kept on a lot of the things, and I seen the circus that many people out there, and I just asked myself, am I doing more harm in doing this than doing good?
As long as you're putting out the stories, there's there's going to be 2 sides to every coin. And, you've welcomed people to step up and talk about their differences, opinions. If they don't step up, that's not your fault. You know, the opportunity was given.
From all sides, you know, if we're talking about it and they want to come up, I offer the safe
Exactly.
space to
So,
everybody.
you know, you're delivering a story, and you know, one side can come up, the other side can come up and tell their side. Then people can make their own judgment call on it. But if you've got somebody sitting making a comment in the audience, and you've got a person sitting here speaking, you know, you can tell a lot about facial expressions, you know, physically seeing them. You can decide, you know, hey, this person's telling the truth, you know. But if you've got somebody sitting out there just typing in stuff, you know, anybody can do that. You can put anything on there. But you can look a lot of times, people in the eyes, you know, they're the windows to the soul.
Yeah.
And I think you've done an excellent job. You give people a voice that had never had one. And we still need it. You know, these stories need to stay out there, every single one of them. Like I said, there's some of us don't speak. I hate it. I really do. But it's not gonna slow me believing that the victim is the most important one. It's not about me. It's not about nobody else. It's about the victims.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the grown-up way to look at it, I think.
Yeah.
You want to catch me out somewhere and try to kick my butt, then, you know, that's cool too, whatever. But in the group, the victims are what matters because they're silenced. They don't have a voice. And somebody's got to give one. You know, Dunaway's supposed to be the victim's voice. He's not. No, by any means. I wonder about a lot of things with him, but I'm sure his mother and father's proud of him, but I just can't imagine why. Because he sure hadn't got no great reviews for anything I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I pray, you know, for all the families. And I pray any of them out there that has questions about a loved one, I pray they'll come out and, as you know, maybe they can talk to the rest of us. You know, we've got nurses in the group.
Yeah.
We, you know, we don't let cops in, but we don't trust them. Why should we? I ain't got no problem with them not being there.
But that's what we do this for, you know. The people that you entrusted to do the job isn't doing the job. So we come up here and we talk about it, praying for those people that do and can help to step up and say, "Hey, I'm here. I want to get involved."
Yeah, the more people that step up, tell their stories, ask their questions. You know, a lot of times you know, when I first started into it, until I saw Aaron on the embalming room table, I believed he did. You know, I made peace with it. He did it. But there ain't nobody sustains the damage he sustained in just a hanging. Ain't no way. It's not possible. And them puppies, like I said, there wasn't no blood on their faces or paws. And the big thing, there wasn't no crime scene photos of the puppies. Not one. So you would want pictures of those puppies. Hell, I know where Aaron's earrings at. You know, so it don't wash. The official story don't wash. It don't fit.
No.
And I told them I will go over their heads as far as I got to go. I don't care. They're nothing to me. all these family members, there's something to them.
I do believe that together, you guys can get somewhere.
I know we can because we're stronger together. There ain't no two ways about it. Always. And, a lot of them I love as much as I love like a family. And I'm here. I'm not going nowhere, unless God takes me. I'm not afraid. I believe I'm doing what God needs for me to do. I'm sure He's got those days when I start cussing and He's saying, and there's that mouth.
Yeah.
But, I'm
Listen, He made us the way He made us, and He knows us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tickled to have you back, and I know everybody else will be too. So you can go out there and say, I'm back.
Back. I've read some of the comments on the videos, and a lot of people, we are all over the place, especially in my real life. When I tell a story, I'll start here and then I'll go sideways on another story and I'll get back to this and then I'll get caught up on another. And I notice a lot of people are, they can't follow the story. And I do agree. Like, I am listening and I'm making some changes, but I don't think a lot of people understand that when you get up here in this camera, it's a lot of pressure to make sure you have every single detail out there. And
it is. When I first started telling Aaron's story, I didn't want to leave nothing out.
Yeah.
One little detail. So I might tell something that happened when it first happened, and then it may be something that go right into something that happened a year later. Eventually, I guess I got to the calm.
Yes.
It's not a place where it don't hurt. It's a place where there's a calm that you can sit and think and rationalize, and that's took me a long while. But we need all the exposure of these cases that we can get.
And that's how I feel. Like if you watch the videos and you really listen, all the details are there.
Yeah.
They may not be in a nice little, because these aren't, for me, the way I feel is we're telling stories, but we're not telling stories. These are people's lives, real lives that they are fighting for and trying to figure out what to do. So it may be a little messy in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point where we've both been in it and we're getting to a point where I wouldn't say it's becoming easier. I hate to say that, but in a way,
it's a calm.
Yeah.
It's a calmness.
Yeah.
I've told Aaron's story so many times, and it still rips me right. We're wide open. But if I can talk about his for a minute and then walk up and talk off on something else, I found that I don't end up in tears as easy. Because when I cry, I'm mad. I'm furious. And the one thing I wanted in all of it was no other parent to go through, what I did. And the sad reality is, I can't stop it. I wished I could. But the only people that can stop what's going on with all these families across Tennessee, across the country, district attorneys got too much power. There's only certain ways they can be held accountable. And in Tennessee, you can't do it in state. Now, you can sue sheriff's departments, but they have passed laws where they protect themselves.
Yeah.
That's like that Jack Johnson out of Williamson County come up with a bill where the citizens couldn't have access to police reports, autopsy reports, anything like that. Why on earth would you do something like that unless you were covering for people?
Yeah. And then and that's how I feel like even if they did go in with good intentions and they're just truly incompetent and bungle the investigation, fine, but that they should still have to answer for that and show and correct. And and that's just not something that they are trying to do, even if they know dead in the face that they are wrong. It's so hard. Like I said, innocent people, you were talking to guys sitting in jail, he's innocent.
Yeah.
And they'd rather let him sit there than
then to say, hey, we know he's guilty, get this man out of here. You know, they're not about doing the right thing. It's about saving face.
Yeah.
And that man spent over 20 years, you know, his daughter's grown up. He didn't get to see her first steps. And that's like Aaron. His daughter, the father-daughter dance. I put them some pictures together. It took a little while me doing it, but I did it where it looked like he was with her, and that's what she wanted. And she'll never really know it. And my thing is, those kids deserve to know their daddy didn't leave with their own hand. And I'll do what I've got. I'll move heaven and earth to get those kids out. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that matter. And there's so many other kids left out there, you know, no parents. Derek Sidwell, he died. He left a 6-year-old daughter too. So he's 42 years old. Aaron like 16 days being 42. It's just, you know, it's not right. And life's not fair. A lot of times it's not. But the thing is, people don't have to make it worse than it has to be. And these families, they have been tortured. Mentally and emotional damage is worse than physical to me. You know, you get over a bruise or a black eye, broke nose, something. But emotional damage, it's hard to get over. And I believe God has brought all this bunch together for a reason. And I don't think he's going to let us down.
I don't think so. Not one bit.
I don't either. But we're sure glad to have you back. And I'll start talking to some folks to see what I can line up for you. But you probably better be ready to get you some threats because.
Hey, that's all right. Yes, I just wanted to make it clear. I did not step away because I was scared or threatened or anything like that. It was me mentally, and I told you I was going to make a video, like kind of talking about it a little bit, but
you don't know the thing actually
of why it's important to take care of your mental health.
Life happens to everybody. There's days that times I want to sleep 2 or 3 days, and people, well, how you sleep like that? I ain't hurting when I'm asleep. You know, my soul's not hurting.
Oh.
Then you wake up, jerk your pants on, you know, and you regroup. You don't owe no explanations to nobody because life happens to everybody. You're a perfect fit for these stories. I mean, it's like it's a match, you know. It's like it's a couple. And you got, you know, you built a good fan base even when you wasn't here, you know. So you have to take a little time off to come back. You come back stronger and harder. You can sit and say, well, hey, I can improve on this here. And, everybody needs a few minutes to think. That's like every door got closed on me. I stepped back, God had opened another one.
Wow.
So you just have to have faith. I knew what was in you. I think you missed your calling. I really do. And I think a lot of other people feel that way too. So see what we can do to get you a bunch of stories lined up. How often do you think you may want to do them?
I just have to be at work. What time is it actually? Yeah, I have to be at work I got to clock in at 2:48 every day. So it would just have to be mornings or on weekends. We could pick a Saturday to do it in the evenings.
Okay.
Because I don't work Saturday or Sundays.
Okay. Well, you can, I thought, you can put something out in the groups,
Just to kind of my schedule, like
how it is. Just when if they want to come in, if they want to work through me and talk to you to set something up, that's fine too. I'll help any way I can. We're just glad to have you back because the more these stories are out there, like I said, everybody can talk about a name, but when you can put a face with it,
yes,
it takes on a whole different meaning. And in Aaron's case, it's took a lot for me to put the photos out. But the thing is, I know he would want me to do everything I could do to make sure that district's looked at. Because Aaron knew something was coming. He knew it. Yeah. But when he told me the cops wouldn't let him leave, I knew he was in trouble. I didn't know how bad, but he did. But he also knew I'd fight the devil for him. And right now, Dunaway's the devil.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to tell him that. You can't speak to somebody on the sidewalk like a human being. You ain't shit.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm the I don't care who you are type too. I tell everybody I don't care if you're the president of the United States.
There you
I'm
go.
still a person, and you could treat me like one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just compassion.
Yeah.
Just show a little kindness. We need to go back to the 60s when they was loving everybody, but we need to love in a different manner.
Parents always told me I grew up in the wrong era, that my era was the late 60s, 70s.
I think I should have been born 20, 30 years earlier where I'd done be gone, not see what's going on in the world. Because Aaron had an old soul. Mm-hmm. He believed in loyalty to his family, to his friends, and he never, ever held a grudge. I mean, people, his size, he had a target on him, and they fight. Aaron patch him up, feed him, and never think nothing else about it. That's just who he was.
Well, it should be.
The times when he went to jail, the officers knew, they might have to tussle with him. It was sort of a game in a lot of ways. But they knew he would never try to hurt one of them because at the end of the day, he had a certain amount of respect for them. Yeah. I will say, I believe on the end, he had complete faith in Derek Sewell. He believed in Derek. And, he told me if something happened to him, he said, call Overton County Sheriff's Department and ask for Derek Sidwell, and he'll tell you what's going on. He put his faith in the wrong man. But, as they say, shit rolls downhill, so, he was doing what he was told. But I believe initially Derek started out I started out probably as a murder investigation. He called TBI. He called because in the police report it says that. He called the DA. So I believe it started out as a murder. But I don't know if it was the sheer number of the people that were actually there, that they were considering the cost. But you would think when you have the man there's prosecuting stuff, he'd have went over that crime scene with a fine-tooth comb himself. They never went in the house. They knocked on the front door, they wrote out a statement, knocked on the front door, and had come out and sign it. He didn't give it to them. So, you can pick this one. Somebody has nothing about law enforcement can pick this apart easy. And most of them that they've messed up, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And, several of the officers that were at Aaron's crime scene are involved in this big lawsuit. I hope one or two of them there, I hope they clean their plows. I mean, they deserve it. But if you're ready to call it a day, we'll call it a day and we'll talk. And I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, you just let me know. I'll when we get off here, I'll go in the group and I'll post kind of my schedule. And if anybody wants to come, there's no pressure.
I've got one in particular. I'm going to hit her up as soon as I get off here. I just love her. She's got a mouth. Woo!
I mean, even if if everybody wants to do one, have somebody come on every weekend, so that way we get people and an audience build up, or every other day, give them a chance to know it's coming. However you guys want to do it, I'll just throw my schedule out there, and then we can figure it out.
Okay, it works for me. I'm like I said, I just put it on when I posted it, I just put join us. I didn't say what was going on. And I figured a lot of people would be tickled to death. I know they are, actually. So you're loved. You always was. Welcome home, young lady.
Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad to be back.
We're glad to have you.
All right. Well, I'm going to go get in the shower. I'm going to go to work. I get off at 11. If anybody is up late and want to shoot and talk that late. But I don't get out of there until 11. I just assume that'd be too late for many people.
Oh, we've got some night owls.
Hey, I was just saying, if there's any night owls out there, we can do it after too.
Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of nights it was late. There's days times I sleep really well, and then there's nights I don't.
Yeah.
There's days I go to bed at 6 o'clock in the evening. But then again, I may have a night I don't sleep. So then wheels is turning, what you gonna do next. I just sit and think about, I'm learning how to make the little video things. I've got to learn how to edit my music though, where it will end like I want it to. I haven't got to that yet, but
you're getting further than I am. I'll tell you, I'm not good with that stuff. I wish I was. I really do. That way, I feel like it would be nice for the when you guys are up here talking, I can show stuff instead of sitting up here.
Cape Cod, or something like that. They've got some good templates, but the only thing about them, they move at a certain pace. So a lot of mine, I was always, when I went to college, I started college in 2009. PowerPoints I was really good at. So I would just do them in a PowerPoint. That way you can stop and people got a question to ask. That's actually what I done for that meeting. And, they've got questions or you want to ask questions. It gives you time to do that, time to read.
Well, that would be better for being up here doing this.
PowerPoints, now they're not really that hard.
See, I was always a writer and a typer in school, even PowerPoint stuff. You know, I would put the input in, but I was never the one to actually put the PowerPoint together. You know what I mean? Like the slides, and
Yeah.
I just gave the information to be put in the PowerPoint. They they put it together.
Yeah. But all right.
All right.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.